Hi, welcome to my garden. It's my birthday! Or it was my birthday. My birthday was on the 14th actually, but that is besides the point. In the theme of Valentine's Day, I wanted to talk about one of my longest standing self inserts and self ships, my Haikyuu Sona and Ase Azumane. With that being said, let's get right into it. This is my Sona. Their name is Ili Fukuyama. Ili, because that's the nickname my best friend gave me, though she never actually uses it. And Fukuyama, because that's always the last name I use when I make these little sonas. Or last name I used when I made these sonas. They're second year at Karasuno and the second manager for the boys volleyball team. In terms of timelines, they signed up to be manager for the team when they got to Karasuno, so they met the third years at the same time as Tanaka, Noya, Enoshita Narada, and Kinoshita. During the early days, they lived pretty close to Kyoko. The others were a bit too loud for them to hang out with at the time, but soon they formed a bit of a bond with Asahi too. Despite only being his second year, he tries to be a bit of an anchor for them when the rest of the crowd gets to be too much for them. In turn, Illy steps out of their comfort zone with Asahi's soft reassurance. I like to think they have a kind of a positive feedback loop with each other. Like, Illy will encourage Asahi when the walls seem to be too high, and Asahi will act as a bit of a lighthouse in the storm when they can't make their way through big crowds. As for their design, I kept it pretty simple and added some elements for my Sona. Like, the part in their hair is the same, and they have the clips in their hair like my Sona too. And yeah, that's about it for them. Okay, so for this drawing, I was going for a bit of an official art type vibe. I am notorious for listening to music louder than I healthily should, so I am desensitized to it for most of the part. I also listen to super loud music on full blast on the daily. A fun concept to me is illustrating their tastes with Asahi and his ears getting totally blown out because the volume on their phone is still all the way up. That is really all the background for this piece. I had a lot of fun with this one actually. I truly don't know where I got Ellie's pose from though. They're supposed to be jumping because I don't know, characters in promotional material are all like always jumping. So as for everything else, I was just going crazy with it. This was one of those drawings where I was so excited to work on it, and I feel like you could tell because I went crazy with the colors. And Jesus Christ, the background took me so long, and you will see me fumble around with it for so long. But despite all that, I had a good time with it. Because, halftones, my beloved. I love halftones so much, guys. When I was doing the line art for this piece, I was actually having like a really good time doing it. I don't normally like doing line art, especially in like bigger pieces like this, because I normally am working in like smaller sizes, and so the presets I have on the line art brush are tailored to those smaller sizes. So with bigger pieces like this, where the details are, more, I guess, magnified or whatever, the what would be big on a smaller piece is too small, and it feels very awkward because I like to have at least pretty thick line art. Most of the time, I used to have this big phase of having like super textured line art, but when that kind of got in the way of my coloring style, I eventually switched to just a solid textured brush. Okay, so quick flash warning for the speed paint. Whenever I do renders, I look at my progress a lot. So be careful with this one, because I'll duplicate the layers and I'll have one that's all of them merged into one and another that is them all spread out so that if I make a mistake, I can go over it again. And so I turn that layer on and off a whole bunch. So, just be a little bit careful with this one. Just, like a statement. Anyways, this drawing has history. So one day, I will never forget, in my 7th grade history class, I was drawing something in my too big sketchbook for my too small book bag and my too small frame, I guess you could say. But I drew this, and I drew a picture, and I came up with this. This was a drawing set in the training camp art where Illy and Aussie were sitting by the tree and, being shy or whatever, and blush. That's my cat. He has a bottle cap. Anyways, where I don't know if you actually can hear that, but if you can, he has a bottle cap and he's fished it out from somewhere, and I don't know where, but it's fine. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so this is set during the training camp arc, and I kind of had the thought, like, Illy and Ozzy, like, they kind of, like, quote unquote snuck away, and they're, like, being all cutesy behind a tree, but really they're just sitting there awkwardly because they don't know what to do. But yeah, so I consider that drawing to be one of my more iconic drawings because of just, like, my mind keeps on going back to it. And so I wanted to somewhat redraw it, pay homage to a time and all that stuff. And I've also never redrawn that piece before, like, ever. That was 22. It is 26. That was 4 years ago. And I've just never drawn it or redrawn it. So, but yeah. And that's all I really have to say in the beginning. The speed paint's kind of long, so, like with the last one, I'll throw in some commentary as it plays out. Admittedly speaking, when I started to do the rendering on Asahi's face, I don't know how I pulled that off. I'm gonna be so honest with y'all. I never know how I pull it off. Every time I do a rendering piece, I never know how I pull it off because I don't render that often. And so when I do, it's just me messing around until I get one part of it done. Because after I get one part of it done, then it's like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can draw. And so while I was doing this, you'll see, the flashing's already beginning because I just checked it so much. I would turn the layer on and off and on and off and on and off because I just couldn't believe it. He looks really good. And you will notice that I did take the widow's peak from his forehead. I got this nagging feeling in the back of my mind that he looks like a certain somebody from that is notorious and around September of last year, and I will not elaborate any further. And I was like, oh my god, he looks like that guy. I have to change it. And so I changed it. If you know, you know. If you don't, I'm not explaining it to you. But yeah, no, there it is again. The me checking it, because it's just it's not even really me checking it. It's just me just looking at my progress. Which is something I do a lot for like when I do rendering. You'll see on this channel that I check it a lot. I also, with this piece, moved things around a lot. Like, that is the first time I moved his leg. You will see me do that a lot more. So many things are going to move. So many things are going to change with this piece. I didn't keep that many. There it is again. And another thing, right here, I didn't really like Illy's pose, to be honest. Like, even when I sketched it out in my sketchbook and just planned it really quick, I wasn't too sold on it, but I was happy with how I drew the background and everything, that I was like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I can just go with it. Like, his pose is great. I really like it. He was, again, in the initial sketch, if you saw, he was initially just kind of sitting there, but I wanted to kind of tie back into this being from the training camp, and so I gave him a watermelon. Because I'm pretty sure in the show, he's like, I ate so many watermelons one time as a kid, I got sick. But yeah, I can't believe I remember this much about the show. And I guess I gave him his widow's peak back a little bit, so that's nice. I hope you can also tell, eventually I'm going to start stalling. I started to mess around with him a whole bunch. His legs are bothering me so bad, because like, oh my god, he looks too tall, or not too tall, he doesn't look tall enough, or the legs look weird, and I couldn't figure it out. But I eventually just started to stall, because another thing, it's hard for me to start a new part of a rendering piece. Like, if I'm sure I've rendered multiple people, like, that was a whole bunch of glitches, sorry, but I'm sure I've rendered multiple people in one piece before, but I can't remember the last time I have, and whenever I have pieces like this, I do kind of stall, so I waited a long time to start Illy's face, but I eventually did, and then I went back to messing with Asahi, because, again, I think I finished their face, and then I had to move to their skin, not their skin, but their hands and stuff, and I wasn't excited about that. Another thing I know, well, I went to their hair, and then I went to their hands, but another thing that I am not that excited about, or I was not that excited about with this piece, was that their hand looked so weird, and I couldn't figure out why. And I still can't really figure out why, but it's fine. So now this is the background. I just downloaded a whole bunch of brushes. I used like a hard brush on the trees, and then I just downloaded leaf brushes and grass brushes from Gumroad. They, if y'all want to know which ones they are, I'll let you know. But you can find it pretty easily. Then I did the background. I also downloaded those cloud brushes, which I really like them. And at this point, I'm just going crazy. I was gonna move his leg, but I'm just going crazy at this point. So yeah, I'll let y'all kind of ride out the rest of the video, or the rest of the speed paint. And that's all I have for you today. I was hoping to have at least one more drawing done for this video, but the days before and after my birthday were so jam-packed, I truly had no time. If I ever do that last idea I had, I'll post that and the speed paint. Speaking of future videos, there will be a totally unrelated poll on my community page that definitely has nothing to do with any of my future plans at all whatsoever. But if you did make it this far, please take a look at it and maybe, vote on something, anything, please, possibly, I don't know. With that squared away, thank you so much for watching. It would be so cool and so awesome if you would maybe drop a like and subscribe. And while you're at it, maybe check out my Etsy shop as well. Whether you do or don't, however, thank you so much for watching again, and I hope to see you in my garden again soon. Bye!